There is a truth they will never teach you in school. The more clearly you see the world, the harder it becomes to live in it. Think about the people around you right now. The ones who laugh the loudest at parties. The ones who always have something to say. The ones who seem to belong everywhere, effortlessly, automatically, as if fitting in costs them nothing. Now think about yourself. If you are watching this video, there is a good chance you have felt it. The quiet, aching distance between you and the rest of the room. That moment where everyone is talking and you are listening, not because you have nothing to say, but because what you would say would end the conversation entirely. You have been called too serious, too intense, too much. But here is what no one told you. You were never the problem. You were simply operating at a frequency that most people are not built to receive. And Socrates, a man who walked the streets of Athens more than 2,000 years ago, understood this at a cost that most people will never have to pay. He understood it so deeply, so dangerously, that it killed him. Socrates was not executed by his enemies. Let that land for a moment. He was executed by a jury of 501 citizens, neighbors, merchants, former friends, people who had once shared meals with him, people who had once called him wise. They voted 280 to 221 to end his life. Not because he was violent, not because he was corrupt, but because he asked questions, because he walked up to powerful men, politicians, poets, generals, and with nothing but calm, methodical conversation, he exposed that they did not actually know what they claimed to know. He held up a mirror, and the reflection they saw destroyed them. Socrates was not killed for being wrong. He was killed for being right in front of people who could not afford to feel wrong. This is the first brutal truth about intelligence. Clarity makes you dangerous. But why? Why does thinking deeply, seeing patterns others miss, questioning things others accept, why does it isolate you? The answer lives inside a concept Socrates spent his entire life circling: the comfort of ignorance. Most people do not want the truth. They want confirmation. They want the world to stay the shape they've decided it is. They have built their identity, their relationships, their entire sense of security on a set of beliefs they have never examined. And then you walk in, not with cruelty, not with arrogance, simply with a question, a single, honest question. And suddenly, the architecture of their certainty begins to crack. They do not hate you because you are wrong. They hate you because some part of them suspects you are right, and they are not ready to rebuild everything they are standing on. Socrates called this the examined life. He said, and these words have survived empires, wars, and centuries: the unexamined life is not worth living. But he never said the examined life would be easy. He never promised you companions on that road. Here is something they will never say to your face. When you grow, truly grow, when you begin to cut away the illusions, the performative friendships, the hollow conversations, the relationships built on convenience rather than depth, the people around you do not celebrate this. They mourn it, because your evolution is a silent accusation of their stagnation. Your discipline reminds them of their excuses. Your solitude frightens them, because it looks like something they can never choose. Your refusal to pretend, to laugh at things that aren't funny, to agree with things you don't believe, to shrink yourself so others feel bigger. This is not rudeness. This is integrity. But integrity at scale is deeply uncomfortable for those who have traded theirs away for approval. Socrates had a word for this kind of person: those who perform wisdom without possessing it. He called them sophists, and Athens was full of them, just as the world today is full of them. People who speak loudly to avoid being heard deeply. People who fill every silence because silence might force them to feel something they have been running from for years. Your quietness is not weakness. Your depth is not dysfunction. Your solitude is not loneliness. It is selection. There is a psychological phenomenon that researchers call minority stress, the chronic, low-grade tension that comes from existing in environments that were not built for the way you think. But Socrates would not have called it stress. He would have called it the price of consciousness. Consider this: a candle does not apologize for the darkness it displaces. It simply burns. And some people, moths drawn to the warmth, will circle it gratefully, but others will try to extinguish it, not because the light hurts them, but because the shadows it casts reveal things they preferred to keep hidden. You are that candle, and the loneliness you feel is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that you have not yet found your people, the rare, quiet, extraordinary few who are also burning, also displaced, also carrying a mind that the ordinary world has no shelf for. They exist. Socrates found them in a small circle, in deep conversation, in the spaces between questions. Not many, but enough. Quality of connection has never been a matter of quantity. Now, let us talk about what you must do. Not to become more palatable, not to shrink yourself back into a shape that fits more comfortably into rooms that were never built for you, but to survive, to protect the mind you have been given, to walk the examined life without being destroyed by the unexamined world. Socrates gave us the method, history gave us the proof, and now, here are the rules. Rule 1, never apologize for your depth. The moment you begin to preface your thoughts with, "I know this is a lot," or "Sorry, I tend to overthink things," you have already surrendered. Your depth is not a flaw to be managed. It is a capacity to be protected. Let those who cannot follow fall behind without guilt. Rule 2. Stop seeking validation from minds smaller than your questions. Socrates did not bring his philosophical dilemmas to the marketplace and beg the fishmongers to understand him. He sought those who were willing to wrestle with truth. You cannot pour ocean-level insight into cup-sized conversations and be surprised when it overflows and makes a mess. Choose your audience with the same precision you choose your questions. Rule 3. Let your silence be your answer. Not every provocation deserves a response. Not every misunderstanding requires your correction. There is a particular kind of power in allowing people to be wrong about you, because those who matter will eventually see through the noise, and those who don't never would have regardless. Rule 4. Reframe solitude as sovereignty. Loneliness is the absence of connection you desire. Solitude is the presence of connection with yourself. Socrates, in his final hours, surrounded by grief-stricken students facing death, was calm, not because he had no feelings, but because he had built an interior world so rich, so examined, so deeply inhabited, that no external circumstance could make him a stranger to himself. Build that world, live there, invite only those worthy of the address. Rule 5. Understand that you are not too much. The world is simply not yet enough. History does not remember the ones who fit in. It remembers the ones who refuse to. Every philosopher, every artist, every revolutionary, whoever changed the trajectory of human thought, they all sat, at some point, exactly where you are sitting now, feeling out of place, feeling unseen, feeling like a foreign language in a world that only speaks in small talk. And yet, they continued, they examined, they questioned, they burned. Socrates died having never written a single word. Everything we know of him came through others, through the students who loved him enough to preserve his voice long after his body was gone. Think about that. The most dangerous, most transformative, most enduring mind in Western history left no manuscripts, no published works, no platform, only questions, and the people those questions changed forever. If you have ever felt that your mind is a burden, consider that it may be a gift so rare that the world has not yet learned how to hold it. The loneliness of the intelligent is not a life sentence. It is a filter, and what it filters for is worth every silent, aching, luminous moment of the wait. The unexamined life is not worth living, but the examined one, it is worth everything, even the solitude, even the distance, even the silence, especially the silence.